Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another masterclass. As usual, Alistair is here with me. Hi, Alistair.
Hi.
Hi, good. So what we're going to be talking about today is actually one particular verb, which is to contract. And this is actually something that often causes a few problems. And so we wanted to discuss it quickly. And partly just because it's during that translation process of vamos a contratar a alguien that the actual problems arise. That's the case, right? Alistair, is when Spanish speakers are kind of want to use that verb to contract and they kind of use it in the wrong context, right?
Yeah. Well, they translate directly from contratar to contract because we do have the verb to contract, but we don't use it in that context of a person. So when you want to have a new employee to fill a position, a post in your company, and you need to find someone, no? And then obviously you interview them, etc., offer them the job, and then they sign a contract. So you can use it as a noun, same as Spanish, no, un contrato. But we wouldn't say you contract that. But the company is contracting 5 new workers to fill 5 positions. And that is the mistake that is very, very common. So the question is, what word do we use? Which is the verb that we would use in English to say contratar a alguien?
That's right, exactly. So if we want to replace that, we don't want to use contract in that particular situation. There are 2 verbs that can be used. First one is to hire someone, which is pretty good. Or you can recruit someone as well. So both of those perfectly equally used. Hire, maybe some people might know that from like a hire company or car hire company.
To hire a car.
Yeah. But in this particular case, you can use it in this particular sort of context as well, right? So to hire someone or to recruit someone. So if you want to say that particular sentence, contratar a alguien, you want to hire someone or recruit someone for a particular position, right?
Yeah. And sometimes you see this recruitment as a noun, like a recruitment process or I don't know, recruitment policy or strategy, or so you can use recruitment as a noun. Is quite common in the world of human resources. Now talking about recruitment.
Yeah.
So recruit someone or hire. It's interesting that hire has sort of contradictory, opposite meanings. Really, when you're talking about hiring a car, is to rent a car. So it means the same. A hire car or a rental car is obviously a temporary thing. So you hire a car for, I know, a day or 3 days. Or a week when you're on holiday, and then you return the car. But interestingly, when you hire a person to do a job, a company hires staff or workers, you sign a contract and you become an employee. So it's a permanent contract, and you stay working in the company. Well, until they sack you, fire you, or dismiss you. But if you don't do anything wrong, and the company is going well, theoretically, you stay in that job for, who knows, for years. So it's actually completely the opposite. Hiring a car is a temporary thing for a day or 2 or a week, but hiring a worker is a permanent. Well, permanent. Obviously, we don't know the future, what might happen, but in theory, it's not temporary. We're giving you a full-time permanent contract, and you'll become an employee, and you'll continue working this company unless something happens for some reason. We have to sack you.
That's right.
But if we don't have to sack you, you'll stay here for till you retire, if you're lucky.
That's right. That's right.
So it's strange, isn't it? The same word, it's like very used in a very different way.
Absolutely. Yeah. So those are the 2 options there. Well, we want to kind of avoid that contracting mistake, right? That use of that. But at the same time, we do want to highlight that in some situations, the actual verb to contract does actually work, doesn't it, Alistair? But it's in very specific situation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's much more specific. And actually, it's more like the hire with a car. I just realized the connection, really. So hiring a car is a temporary thing. You just hire a car, you use it, take it back, and that's it. So it's a short-term relationship, between the hire company or the rental company and the person doing the hiring. So when you contract, when a company contracts something, you contract a service, an external service from an external company. So it's sort of like outsourcing. That's quite a fashionable word, in recent times in business, outsourcing.
Yeah.
So perhaps, I don't know, you're having some kind of event, a big meeting with lots of people coming to the office, maybe a conference, something like that, and you need to contract a catering company, catering services to put the food, to supply the food for the day.
Yeah.
So you contract them. They come in, they do their job for the day. They, give you the catering, provide the food. You pay them for their service. Well, they invoice you, I suppose, and you pay the invoice. End of relationship. That's it.
Yeah.
So, there's no permanent ongoing relationship necessarily with that company, and they're not employees of the company. You're simply purchasing a service externally. So you contract a particular service from an external company to do something. So it's a bit more like hiring a car.
It is.
In that sense.
It is. I think a good example there is, we were talking about this before, but it's like related to events, right? It can be a corporate event, it can be a business event, but it can also be something more like related to, obviously, something more personal, like a wedding or something, where you would contract maybe a catering service. Now, this word itself is quite interesting, catering, because in many Spanish speakers actually say catering, which is like really I was completely confused when somebody first said that to me. Catering.
Yeah, I was like, catering? What's that?
Yes, exactly.
I had to write it for me. And I went, oh, catering.
That's right. So catering service. You might need a catering service for your wedding, right? Because you're not going to be literally cooking all the stuff for all your guests. So in that particular case, for a wedding, you would contract a catering service to come and provide the food for all your guests.
And a photographer.
You'd contract
a wedding photographer.
Yeah.
Sometimes people do it themselves these days because we've got such good cameras but most people, even now, you would contract a professional photographer to take your wedding photos because you want them to be, perfect and fantastic and high quality. Right. So there's two good examples: a wedding, an event. You contract quite a lot of things. A florist to provide the flowers, the photographer to take the photos, the catering company maybe.
Yeah.
So quite a lot of services that you might need to contract for the day of your wedding.
Yeah. Yep. Good.
So, it's a very good example.
So what the challenge here, Alistair, is very much related to getting this right? To kind of making the distinction between the two. So the challenge is here on the one side is to use hire and recruit. Maybe talking about maybe when you've hired somebody or recruited somebody, or when you were yourself recruited by an organization. So that's an interesting story that certainly people could share in the Fluency community, both in the recording or in the live session. But then also, if you want to go to that next level, you could actually give an example of related to contract and how it can be actually used properly as well. So when you contracted a particular service, right?
Yeah.
So, we needed to contract some particular service, like as you were saying, a florist or whatever it might be for a wedding, or even sort of a corporate event as well.
So it could be in your company and business, contracting some external, outsourcing something, or in your personal life, as you say, an event like a wedding or whatever it may be. So something where you or your company had to contract some kind of service.
Yeah.
Try to use maybe a story using both, or at least, or one or the other. No?
Yeah, exactly. Good. Alistair, thank you very much. We'll be looking forward to those particular recordings. If some come along, remember, you do get personalized feedback if you do record one. That's the enticement that we give you. And then, of course, we'll do it in the live sessions as well. So, Alistair,
of course,
thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll speak soon. All right.
Cheers.
Bye. See you then. Bye-bye.